Welcome to the Lazaro Lab. I'm Ryan Lazaro.
And I'm Matt Lazaro.
And today we have a special guest. She calls herself Queen Bee. She's Latina, so she's spicy. Does a lot of GHGs to keep her abs dicey. We have Betty Reyna. Welcome.
Hi guys, thanks for having me.
All right. So Betty, we brought you on for an intervention.
Okay.
Because you do too many GHGs. No. No, I wanted to bring you on because I think you have a very unique overall fitness progression. You know, because you've been working towards some goals for on and off for a long time, and over the last year, I've had the opportunity to work with you to get you shredded, and you know, you fit a unique type of client that I work with. In other words, you know, some people come to me because they need to lose a significant amount of weight. You definitely didn't have to lose a significant amount of weight. So let's start from the beginning. So
Okay.
like, when did you first start like your fitness journey?
Well, I've always been a pretty athletic person. In high school, I played soccer. Getting out of high school, I continued to play. So I played soccer for 7 years. And then I got really busy with working and going to school. So I just kind of fell out of like just, you know, working out.
Yeah.
And then I came across CrossFit about 8 years ago. And then, but when I had first started CrossFit, I wasn't really eating healthy. I thought I was eating healthy. And then I would over reward myself with tacos, burritos, and
Once a week, twice a week.
Was it a daily thing?
every day that I worked a full shift, I reward. That was about 5-6 days.
I deserve it all.
So anyways, I thought I was doing pretty good if I was working out 5 days a week. I'm like, okay, it'll balance itself out, you know.
Fair enough.
And then the shutdown happened last year, so the gyms were closed, and then, you know, I put on quarantine weight and everything like that. So then I officially moved back to Stockton from LA, and then I found out that CrossFit 209 was open, and I was like, okay, great. And then Matt, you had been working with my sister for several years, and I really liked the results that she had, and I had been wanting to, you know, work with you guys for quite some time, but I didn't want to do the remote program because I'm a people person, so I need to have somebody in front of me telling me
You
like,
don't ask a lot of questions.
I ask questions all day, every day.
No.
Hey, but if it wasn't for me asking all those questions,
I know, I'm just
I
joking.
wouldn't have the knowledge that
I encourage it, and that's the thing. We gotta have that open lines of communication, because that's how you learn. And it's one of those things, like, I can't preemptively give you all the information up front. We just have to take it as it comes.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, that's one thing I noticed is just, you know, my clients who are very diligent about presenting the situations as they come will end up absorbing it and progressing with it overall. So
not just waiting one whole week and saying, hey, I ran through this many problems. What do I do about that?
Yeah.
Just executing them on the spot.
Some people still do that, but it's okay. But so roughly a year ago, you felt like you were not doing as well as you could.
Exactly. So like I said, when I started coming back, I had made a commitment to myself that I was like, okay, I know I can eat better, you know? So I started buying like chicken bowls, and I was like, okay, my carbs, my chicken, it probably wasn't the best chicken.
Pour on all the teriyaki sauce.
And the egg rolls, and they came with like, you know, broccoli and carrots. So I was like veggies. And, you know, I did notice that it did help because Ryan, if you remember I weighed in once, and then I spoke with you, and I was kind of on the fence about working with you.
Yeah.
Okay, that week I lost a pound of fat and I gained a pound of muscle.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, the chicken bowl, something's happening here. And then, so then I decided to start to work with you. So prior to me working with you, I had already mentally like started to prepare myself for the commitment that I was going to take on.
Yeah. And the thing was, it's like that was something we talked about, because your goal was a little more, in my opinion, was more aggressive than most people's goals. You know, you wanted to be, you wanted to have that that physique goal of having abs. And,
Yeah, you had an exact look you
Yeah.
wanted.
I really did. I Googled pictures.
Yeah.
So, like,
Like what I wanted to look like.
Yeah.
you had
yeah.
a plan, and the only way you're going to execute it is actually seeing the end goal.
Exactly.
And what I always explain to people is just like that's definitely achievable, but you have to be willing to be able to give up certain things because it's one thing just to maintain a healthy body fat, and it's a whole nother thing to look really athletic because you are athletic. You know, I mean, doing 100 GHGs every day is not easy.
It's routine now, so I'm not comfortable if I leave the gym without doing them. So
Yeah.
I will never feel the same way.
Yeah, same. So, what was the biggest difference in when I started laying things out for you? What was the biggest change overall that you initially experienced?
I would say just having a little bit more structure when it came to my nutrition. I learned how to, you taught me how to kind of eat in like smaller portions throughout the day. Prior to you giving me, the plan, I found myself eating way too much in one sitting. Like I would eat until the point where I was like full and then food coma.
Yeah.
I don't get food coma anymore. So I would say that was like the biggest change for myself.
Did you feel healthier?
Yeah, I felt a lot healthier. I have a lot more energy.
Now, you have been able to start RXing the workouts now.
Yeah,
Definitely played a role, possibly.
It comes. I get pressured here and there. And now it's just a routine.
We see the capability, so.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
You can't just look the part.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what Ryan tries to get away with, though.
Half the time.
Yeah. So what are some of the other non-physical things that changed for you over the span of the last year, like starting from the beginning overall? Was there some mental, like things that you were able to achieve that you didn't think you were able to, or?
I would say overall, like it just helped me be a lot more focused. I felt like I said, I like more energetic. I felt like a lot more positive just because I felt better about myself, and I just felt like, a lot lighter on my feet. What else? I wasn't as tired all the time. My sleeping got better.
Good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you did have some terrible sleep habits.
The coma too. The coma, I swear, I love that stuff.
It's right behind us. I don't know if you guys can see it
Right
on
there.
the wall, but it helps regulate your sleep.
Yeah, so I would say overall, just in every aspect that you can possibly think of, it has helped
Improved it.
a lot, significantly.
And then did you notice an initial change in your performance in the gym?
Definitely. I started to, my running got better. I have better stamina. I have a lot more strength. Like my strength started to improve in the first couple weeks, and then it's only gotten better since.
Which is really interesting considering how long you've been doing CrossFit technically. But you've only been doing CrossFit here at 209 for
about a year.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
August was a year.
Okay.
Yeah, your initial experience was down south.
Yeah, and I had actually plateaued for several years. I think it was like I hadn't PR'd in like 3 years.
Just
And-
needed that extra intensity.
And then I came here. There was like 2 weeks straight. I was like PRing like every day.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it was just PRs left and right.
It's a combination of eating better and then Gabe's ridiculous programming.
Oh my God, the intensity. I die every day I leave.
Yeah. Some of the WODs are kind of heavy.
But I mean, that's the thing. You can make it what you want.
Exactly.
You can try as hard as you want or not. So
Yeah, no, that's the truth.
I mean, I always say that if you're going to put in the work, you might as well give it your all, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So why did you feel the need to have such a very specific goal for your physique?
If you remember the first day that we talked, well, okay, before that, I've always admired all the athletes that work out here, how they're just very toned and just nice physiques.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've always wanted, but I've never had the discipline and somebody to tell me, hey, Betty, this is what you need to do.
Yeah.
It is also possible. Like, you can achieve this by following this.
But
Exactly.
why did you want to accomplish it?
Why?
Yeah.
Just to have the body that I've always wanted. You know, and I think at some point it just became something that a goal that I wanted to achieve just because I wanted it.
Yeah.
A lot of the times when I put my mind to something, I'm just like, I have to get that. I have to get that. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to get there. So
I can attest for that.
So remember the first day that I saw you, I was like, man, like what body percentage are these girls? You threw out the number, probably 18%. And I was like, that is where I want to be for months.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Remember?
you were pretty obsessed with that number.
Yeah, I was obsessed.
Am I there yet?
I almost wish I didn't tell you the number.
Every single Friday, I'm like, am I there yet? Am I there yet?
Yeah, and to be transparent, just because your body fat gets to that how a certain percentage doesn't always guarantee health. But we did it as healthy as possible overall,
Exactly.
and Betty is healthier overall.
Yeah.
I would argue, but
It's not like, hey, this is a 4-week plan.
yeah, but that's the thing. The reason I'm kind of like segmenting off into what I'm saying right now is because I think there's this preconceived idea that if we achieve a very specific body fat, that we're all of a sudden going to have healthier lifestyle changes that coincide with it. That's
Yeah.
not necessarily true.
You could have bad habits.
And that was the thing I think I explained to you in the beginning. It's like we could pursue this in a way where you just drop weight.
Yeah.
Or we can do it in a way to where you preserve, gain muscle, increase
Yeah.
strength,
First way wouldn't be sustainable for you.
Yeah.
Be a quick fix and then,
or just bounce, boom, boom, boom.
yeah.
And yeah, I mean, you even bounced back from getting sick too. Like you bounced back pretty quick.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, that was and then yeah, you came back with a vengeance. I feel like.
Oh yeah, I definitely was. Only because I was sick for a couple weeks. I felt like I just had backtrack every day. I was like, no, my muscles going down the drain, you know. And I came back and I was on fire.
Yeah, no, that but that's the thing. That's what's so unique about your story is that you didn't have to get in ridiculous shape. But you wanted, from my perspective, you wanted to set a very specific goal because you're a very goal oriented person, right? Even with like your work and stuff too, right? You set these goals and you pursue them and you go full force at them, and you know, it's just a slightly different type of progression. So how do you once you started getting and maintaining around that where you reached, how'd that make you feel?
Once I hit the 18%, or just in general.
Well, we'll start there. Yeah.
Okay, so once I hit the 18%, I was just like, okay, mission accomplished.
I can cheat as much as I want.
Exactly.
Well.
In moderation, because I didn't want to backtrack. But after I achieved that goal, I did realize that I was like, okay, maybe I'm a little too lean. So then I was, okay with eating a little bit more. We increased my macros.
Did a little reverse dieting.
Yeah. Exactly. So, sorry.
No, you're good. No, so basically you got to your goal, you liked the way your physique was looking, and realized you wanted to put a little more muscle on.
Exactly. So I remember what I was saying. Okay, so when I got to the 18%, I was just like, I went cold turkey, like with alcohol and everything, right? And
Yeah.
I was super, super strict. So once I got to that point and I'm like, okay, you know what? Like, I don't have to be as strict on myself. And that's the cool thing about your program is that, you told me that from the get-go, like, hey, you know what? You can still kind of...
Yeah, have food you like, have drinks you like, but it's...
in moderation.
Well, he don't like that word.
Okay, maybe.
I almost said it, so...
This is what I say. I say that there's ways to enjoy the fun food.
Yes, okay, that's...
And enjoy life within the capacity of what goal you want to sustain.
Yes.
Right? So it's different. So it's like if you want to be peeled back all the time and look ridiculously shredded.
Like me.
Yeah.
Like you, yes.
Betty's leaner than you, right?
One day.
You messed me up. I don't even remember what I was saying, you jerk.
Guess we'll see. Yes.
Yes. What the heck was I talking about now? You totally screwed me up. No. So contingent on what the actual goal is and what you want to maintain at will really dictate how much flexibility you should have. And so that's where we started jumping into like showing you how to balance out your macros, your calories, and fluctuate them and make adjustments as they go. When you're like sending me pictures of all the food that you're eating, or when I see you just posting a lot of things, and I'm like, I'm gonna hear something interesting by Monday, I bet.
I get inspired by the good things that other people eat, you know, and I'm like, I want
He
to eat
looks
that
at the
too.
post and he's like, oh, that's about 500 calories over her.
I'm like, well, I bet you I'm gonna get a text pretty soon about, so
What do I need to do?
kinda ate too much, what should I do now?
Always.
But that's the thing. Do you feel now it's easier to maintain where you're at than it was even prior to even starting? Because you're maintaining a significantly leaner physique from even before, right? When you were doing CrossFit prior to coming here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, is it what's the best part about that though? Like, do you feel finally like you have some freedom with your food?
I definitely do feel like I have freedom, especially, you know, how you taught me how to count my macros.
Yeah.
I could just kind of plug in if I want to have a taco, which I, you know, wouldn't always recommend. I can kind of plug that into, you know, my macros and then, you know, kind of substitute.
Yeah.
So yeah, it has gotten a lot easier to maintain. I can, you know, swap out my proteins, my carbs, and all of that.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. It's you know, even when you go on vacation, you still were able to come back and be fairly within range.
Yeah.
It's like,
Speaking of vacations, how were you eating out there?
You know what? I was actually eating pretty good.
yeah.
I mean,
How are you drinking?
There's pretty good and there's
Real
I
good.
kept it as you know, least amount of calories possible.
But
Just
okay, so
liquor over.
let me ask you this, because I want people to kind of hear this. You were on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
You were still being cognizant of your decisions.
Mm-hmm.
You still enjoyed some alcohol and stuff like that. But did you feel like restricted? Did you feel like, oh my God, I feel terrible?
No, I didn't feel restricted. I was just a little bit more mindful of what I was going to be eating.
Did it take away from your experience?
No, it didn't.
Yeah.
I just wasn't as strict when it came to kind of like overeating on carbs or like desserts. I'm just very mindful now of what I eat. And I also keep in mind that if I overeat, how I'm going to feel after. You know, I'm on vacation. I don't want to
feel bloaty. Yeah.
Exactly. You know, going to the beach after or the pool, you know, you don't want to.
Yeah, no, that's a common thing that a lot of my clients will tell me is, you know, during the middle of their program, they'll go on vacation, they'll come back, and they'll tell me it's the first time they've been able to enjoy their vacation more because they're not overindulging and then sitting around feeling like they're, you know, going into a diabetic coma because of how much food they ate. You know, like that's a very discomforting feeling. And to be able to feel like you can move around and still enjoy your time and enjoy people and do whatever you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I still had foods that I don't typically eat. Like, you know, I have like my chicken nachos.
Didn't binge on them though.
Exactly.
Yeah. Do you feel like now, because you've been able to manage your food differently, do you feel like it's easier to not overeat?
Definitely. I've gotten in the routine of eating in smaller portions or, you know, whatever it is.
Yeah, portions are better suited for you.
Yeah.
Not what I eat.
Yeah. So it's all about portion control,
Yeah.
you know, and after working with you for so many months, like I just got into the hang of it and I don't crave big servings like I used to in
You're
the
not
past.
eating to get full. You're eating for the quality of the taste of the food.
Exactly.
Not just,
Yeah.
And then-
experience is different.
Yeah, and then I also keep in mind how it's going to, you know, affect my mood later on in the day.
Oh.
And I also think about how whatever I eat for that day may affect my performance in the gym the following day.
Yeah.
So I think about that as well. And that's what sometimes, you know, if I'll like want to have like a beer or something, I'll think about how I'm going to feel the following day. So I'm like, okay, no, if
Yeah, I
it's
might be a
gonna
little sluggish, or if I drink
exactly.
too much, I'm gonna have a hangover and be dehydrated.
Yeah.
exactly.
Sometimes it ain't worth it.
No.
Depends
Especially
on
with the
work.
Monday workout.
Yeah.
Oh, not worth it.
Oof, no.
Or Fridays. Fridays are really bad.
At least if you train really hard Friday, you might not do something on the weekend.
Yeah, because you'd be
Maybe.
tired.
Maybe.
Yeah. So what are some of the things that the biggest takeaways overall in terms of, let's say somebody is really close to their fitness goal overall, and the way they, not only the way they look, but the way they feel like they're on the verge of getting better at performing in the gym, and just generally want to feel better. Like, what are the main things that you would say that are most important for them to pay attention to?
Oh, that's a good question. Let me think.
Just from your personal experience, that's all. Because that's where you started. You know what I mean? Like, was it that the program taught you more focus? What did it help you focus on more right away?
I would say making healthier choices. What else?
It's kind of being aware more of like what's in the actual food.
Yeah, what's in the actual food. I also started to pay attention to which foods were kind of working in my benefit. I noticed that some...
Like how you physically felt.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, so I would say that was probably the biggest thing for me.
How did Doritos make you feel?
Happy at the moment. I had some yesterday.
And that's the thing, guys. Like, I want everyone to understand. It's like, it's not like Betty is only eating fish and chicken for a year. You know, she's enjoyed plenty of other foods.
Yeah, I have over,
Every
over time.
week.
Like, yeah, I'm saying. I mean, but it really also, I think about, okay, how was my training for the week?
Yeah.
Did I go to the gym every single day?
Because
how hard
you've
did I
had
go?
bad weeks. You know?
Oh, yeah.
And then that one time that you were like, I'm going to try it on my own.
Oh, yeah.
I really think you can do it.
I took a break for a week. I remember it was, what was it? Memorial Day week.
Oh, okay.
Oh, my
okay.
gosh. I gained 5 pounds.
Well, you went hard, though.
yeah.
It's like a party week, probably.
Yeah. And then,
Like all week.
I
Right?
came back to my senses. I'm like, okay, Matt, like let's start over again.
Well, it's
I
not
think
starting over. It's just
the-
recalibrating again.
Yeah. I think you just like the accountability.
Exactly. I mean, because Matt, you're right. I probably can do it on my own. Not probably. I
No,
can't
you
do it
can.
on my own.
You 100%
but
can.
it's really the accountability that helps kind of push me through the week and just keeping me on track. And then
Yeah.
when I come in the gym and you see whatever it was that I had posted that I ate, it just kind of
Like, let's see how these burpees go.
Yeah, it clicks, and I'm like, oh, man, I got to
better
stay on
tell
top of
him.
it. Yeah.
Nah, and that's the nice thing, especially when people train either CrossFit or something that's performance driven, because you become attached to how you feel during the workout.
Oh, yeah.
Rather than just spending all this time on cardio machines and stuff like that. Like, there's nothing wrong with that by any means, but I always find that a lot of my clients who do CrossFit or do some type of functional training end up progressing more quickly than others, because it's not only exclusively reliant on their weight.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's not like your weight didn't change much, but your physique changed a lot. Like, what, do you remember your original weight?
My original weight was, I think it was like 118.
Yeah, so you're only like, how big of a difference is it?
Right now, I'm at 113.
Yeah. But and we'll put up some before and afters, but like when you look at her, it's not like she was out of shape. She just wasn't in the shape that she wanted to be in. But then comparative to where you're at now with the visually more muscle, visually significantly leaner.
Yeah.
Stronger.
Yeah. RXing, not sandbagging the strength.
I never felt like I was sandbagging, but I guess
No,
looking back,
no.
I kind of was.
Yeah. Well, it's not, I don't call it sandbagging. I
Built
just
a
think-
strong foundation and just needed a little extra push just to.
Yeah, you guys
It's
push
just what-
me,
it's
push
just what-
me off the
water.
cliff.
It's just what happens when you train at 12 o'clock. That's what
I know, definitely.
I'm joking if someone's listening. But no, and that's the other beauty about this is like the community helps drive you
Yeah.
basically. but you can't be only focused on the numbers,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, because sometimes you were,
Yeah.
and it had to reel you in.
Well, it was when I was getting to the 18% was
Yeah.
when I was really, really focused on that number.
Yeah, and where you ended up, overall with where you were most satisfied with your physique, was it around that percentage? Or was it a little less?
At that point, I thought I was,
Mm-hmm.
but then when I really, like weeks later, when I started to look back, I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, you know what? I'm way too lean. And you had told
Ah,
me,
yeah.
if you get to 18%, you're going to be really, really lean. I was
Yeah.
like, I don't care. I want to get
That's
there.
fine.
Yeah.
And then, but now I would say probably at this point where I'm at now is probably where I'm the most happiest, even though I'm not at my 18%.
And it's still sustainable.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like right now I fluctuate between probably about 19 to 20% body fat, which
Yeah.
I just like to see the 18.
And it's
but
still
as far
within that
as-
range. Like, hey,
Yeah.
you want to lean out a
Well,
little
you
bit.
feel good. You like the way you look. You probably like the way your clothes fit, right? Like,
Yeah.
so as long as all those things are there, that's the most important part. What we're gonna do is take a little break because we got to reset the camera real quick. We are back from the break. Ryan had to do some push-ups because he likes to show his big ass
Get
arms.
pumped up.
Get pumped. Yeah. So, one thing I wanted to ask you a little more about is how has everything progressed in a way, in the sense of how has it helped with your other endeavors in life, like work and personal life and things like that? What are your experiences with that?
Like I had mentioned earlier, I would say one of the things that it's really helped me with is just staying focused, having a positive mindset, just being a go-getter, being a hustler, always keeping in mind of my goals. And especially, with my health and my fitness, being able to attain that 18%, it was extremely difficult only because at the point where I was at in the beginning, I had started at 28%. So just seeing that,
Oh yeah, I forgot. That's
it was about,
Oh,
pretty
that's a good
significant
percentage
change.
difference.
Yeah.
I mean, I dropped 10 pounds of fat, and up until this point, since I started, I think I gained about 4 pounds of muscle. So just getting up until that point, just the consistency and just being, so disciplined, I've learned how to kind of apply that commitment, that discipline, that motivation just to keep going, regardless of, little setbacks here and there, like getting sick, for example. It set me back a lot. But just staying committed and staying focused.
Knowing you have the resources to bounce back.
Exactly.
So being more fit, more healthy, does it help with your career right now? Like, you're in real estate, right?
Correct.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so I've been in real estate for about, I got my license in November. I started doing business with my sister the beginning of the year. So like I said, with the, the commitment and the discipline, real estate, you really have to, put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Always,
go.
hustling, always networking, making connections.
Never
so
stops.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. It never ever stops. So that's one of the things that I like about CrossFit here is I'm always, talking to people just because I'm just a very social, friendly person. So I'm always, building friendships, connections,
Yeah.
networking. So I feel like a lot of the how can I say? That's one of the ways that I'm able to kind of incorporate how can I say?
To stay connected.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's just something you
lost
do
my train of
naturally, anyways, right? So, no, that's awesome. I mean, and that's the one thing I've always seen, especially with other business people in general across the board, is that when they have, and I'm not saying it's a requirement, right? I'm just saying there's a correlation, definitely, when people are more in tune with their health and their fitness, it translates over into the rest of their life, and it's like you see things differently than most people. Like, even probably when the way we all see food, right? Like, even it's funny. I feel like borderline live in kind of a bubble because we're surrounded by people have this like-mindedness,
Yeah.
and then when you end up, going outside of that and kind of convening with other people, it's kind of eye-opening how there's a lack of general. I would say lack of general responsibility for their health specifically, and you can see it.
Yeah.
Especially when you go to Walmart. But that's the majority of the population, anyways.
Yeah.
We're definitely in the minority, but I don't think people need to necessarily be extremely lean or extremely fit to benefit from it. It's just everyone has to recalibrate their goals and everything depending on where they're starting. Mm-hmm. I honestly think people could actually can pursue things very similarly as Betty has this whole time, just in their own way where they're currently at, because it's kind of absurd to think everyone could get is as fit as somebody else. That's not necessarily. It is true, but it's not necessarily something that everyone desires, nor do they need it. So, do you feel like you want to? Do you have any new goals that you want to pursue?
I think, well, as far as with the gym, my main goal right now is just to continue building muscle.
Yeah.
That's really like my main focus right now.
Jacked.
I mean, not super jacked, but whatever happens.
Yeah,
and also maintain my abs. That's super important to me.
That's awesome. I forgot my question. It totally slipped out of my mind. Well, what are some of the main tools that keep you focused every day right now?
I would say as far as in the gym or
just across the board.
Main tools that keep me focused.
You seem like you have a really strict protocol. Do you wake up? Do you do something?
Yeah. What's like your morning routine?
My morning routine. Okay, so I get up, have my breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
I work from home, and then I come here to the gym. Get my workout, and then
For a few hours.
He's not joking. No.
Really, the main thing that just keeps me really grounded and focused is working out, which is why I spend so much time in the gym. And then also, just seeing the results that come with the work that I put in just helps keep me focused and grounded.
Yeah.
So I would say the biggest tool for myself and, just my everyday life is working out. And I know how difficult it is to get started, but it's really just making a commitment to yourself and showing up for yourself.
So that's a really key thing you just said. You essentially have to put yourself forward. You have to put yourself first rather than do things for others. The majority.
Exactly.
I feel like every person I've worked with that had goals based around other people's either perception or their perception of what they think other people think of them.
Yeah.
They struggle a lot more than the normal person not normal, I would say, than the average person that actually has and understands and knows that it's for themselves. Right. And as selfish as that might sound, it makes sense in a good way to be selfish in that manner.
Yeah. And I would say that sometimes in the beginning, I would think about it like that. I was always like, man, am I selfish for, just investing, so much time and so much into myself? But at the end of the day, the way that I see it is if you don't invest in yourself, who is going to do it for you?
Yeah.
Because maybe not everybody, but majority of people are out for themselves. So if you're looking out for other people, who's going to look out for yourself? Right?
You have to take care of yourself first.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I first-hand experience with that, especially having children. It's one of those things. It's you still have to take care of yourself first if you want to be there for them.
Provide, yeah.
Yeah, it's like there's a certain order to things, I would say. That I really always wonder how to get people to understand the importance of doing things for yourself.
Yeah. We have lots of examples of us wanting or knowing someone's capabilities of pursuing their fitness or pursuing their diet in general, but it's almost like we want it more than they do.
Oh yeah, that's extremely common. I think you've brought up you've had people that that have talked to you about that, right? Like, because they see this dramatic change not only in the way you look, but the way probably your entire energy out there and stuff like that. And they always ask, like, "What are you doing?"
And I think that it was the biggest. I think the biggest. I guess when people really started to realize the difference in myself was that before and after picture that I had posted on my IG.
Yeah.
Because everybody knew what I was doing. Everybody knew that I was, always in the gym because I'm always posting, my videos and my pictures and stuff. But after seeing that before and after, that's when people really started to approach me like, hey, what is your workout like? How's your eating? I'm like, okay, well, it's all pretty much Matt's.
You can't follow what I do here.
Yeah.
You need
Talk to this person.
What do you tell them that they need to do to pursue it, though? You know what I mean? Because it's like, obviously, you're like, well, this is what I'm doing, but what do you recommend to those people? What do they need to do to get started? I would say.
Well, first, I feel like you need to get to a point where you're just fed up with yourself. You're just fed up with your lifestyle and just your eating habits. Because once you get fed up with yourself, that's when you make a commitment to yourself. Like, hey, you know what?
You need to have it or want it bad enough.
Exactly. And that's one of my mottos is how bad do you really want it?
Yeah. And you have to be very honest with yourself when you're having those conversations. Otherwise, I think most of us will lie to ourselves or believe the lies of other people.
Yeah.
Right. Like your peers around you will be such a heavy influence of, oh, you're fine where you're at, even though inside you're not happy.
And it's for a lot of people, it's probably getting out of that comfort zone. Like, get used to being uncomfortable, but eventually it turns into just your everyday routine.
Yeah. And, going back to what you were saying when, how I have these conversations with people, I always tell them, whenever, and I'm always there to encourage people and motivate people to, live a healthier lifestyle or, even, hey, do you want to work out together? Do you want to go for a run? I'll be more than happy to help anybody out that I can. And, with that, I also tell them, you'll notice your whole life change, just your attitude, your energy, just becoming more
motivated. That first step.
Exactly. And I always tell people it's progress, like baby steps. The first step is, doing something about it, whether it's just eating healthier or going for a run or just working out and then once you start seeing results, that's when, you just really, you step your game up and it's every single day you step your game up.
And I think a lot of people end up giving up before they could even see the results.
And that's why I always tell people, when I started working with you, I didn't see results like that week, the next week. I started to see my results in 3 or 4 weeks. So I always let people know, like, you're not going to see results immediately.
Not instant gains, instant losses.
Yeah. And also, arguably, the reason why people can't see the change is because their perception of themselves is one way. And that's just what I know. It's because no matter how much I show people numbers or make them do before and afters, it only changes when they become more aware of themselves and they have a certain...
like a change of mentality.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then that's the thing. It's like, and I can't stress this enough. It's great to pursue certain types of physique goals. Like it's 100% good. But if you're unable to do it in the way that makes it to where you're actually improving your life, it seems almost pointless because you're going to be miserable regardless. And then now you're just going to be miserable, leaner, and hungry rather than,
true.
Rather than actually, hey, I feel empowered. I have X, Y, and Z lined up. Sorry, guys, for the train. We forgot to close the doors. Soon the train we won't hear it too much once we get the new room set up. Anyways, so would you like to add anything else, Betty?
Any questions you'd like to ask us?
I actually don't have any questions.
What?
I know.
We go off of air.
We're gonna go off air. You can't ask any more questions.
No, I would just like to say that I really appreciate your everything that the both of you guys have done for me. All your advice, your knowledge, always answering all of my questions, and I just really appreciate your guys' help.
Yeah.
And your patience and everything like that. And I appreciate you for, helping out my friends that have, I've referred over to you. And
hey,
appreciate the help.
Well, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for tuning in to the Lazaro podcast. Please like and subscribe.
Peace out, guys.